Last day of summer, chapter 17. Your mama named you that? You know, she'd worked the pedals easily now, like he'd gotten a boost of unexpected energy. The girls might be able to help. They're pretty good with Logan County weirdness. They can't move, so they can't help. Drop it. I'm just saying, Licky and Lean see things differently than us. It's not like we never teamed up before. Otto's scowling, twisting on his handlebar seat, rocking the bike. Hey, she'd fought to maintain their balance. Stop moving. We didn't team up with the Ellisons. You invited Lean because you want her to be your girlfriend and left me dealing with Wiki getting in the way. Bashful, she'd said, that's not the way I remember it. We don't need their help. We're legends. Legends are better than epics. Actually, they're kind of like synonyms. I checked the thesaurus. Shut up. They spoke of the epic Ellisons no more as they sailed back into Fry. Same scene, different angle. All frozen, everything. They went to the building where the stranger had yelled their own maneuver at them. Big Apple Bakery, named so because Miss Ramika, the owner, was from New York City and used real big apples in her tarts and pies and turnovers that Otto loved more than any sweet treat around. Don't tell Grandma. Climbing the fire escape to the roof, they found no stranger and no clue of where he might have gone. From this high view, they looked over the unmoving city under a fixed bright sun and moved what they could possibly do and wondered what they could possibly do next. We don't know where to even begin to look, Sheed flopped on his butt, dog-tired. Otto reviewed his notes. Maybe we go back to Harkness Hill. Check the area where the stranger's portal appeared. There might be evidence. I'm going to need a break first, Sheed said, breathing hard. He looked more tired than Otto'd ever seen him. The double bike ride must have worn him down. Otto said, I'll pedal us out there. You can rest on the handlebars. You're extra bossy today, cuz. Sorry. I'm sorry if frozen time is getting in the way of your napping. This was about to be a fight. The boys had learned to sense when they were coming on. Sometimes it was words, yelled words, mean words. In the worst moments, they wrestled and threw punches. Never around Grandma because she'd make them scrub floors and iron drapes and weed the garden until they were too exhausted to scuffle. No Grandma around, though. She, slowly, a little stiff, stood up. The time freeze wouldn't have happened if you didn't take that camera from Fluff's. All of a sudden, Logan County strangers is my fault, huh? Today it is. Otto stuffed his notebook in his pocket, dropped his backpack, and clenched his fist. She'd bent his knees the way Muhammad Ali did in old videos. They drew near. The rooftop door swung open on squealing, rusty hinges, snatching their attention. From inside the shadowy stairwell, the stranger emerged with that bucking sack hoisted on his shoulder and a half-eaten turnover in hand. Through a mouthful of apple goodness, he said, Hey, fellas, been waiting on you. The boys remained on guard. He strolled closer, taking another chomp of his turnover before kneeling and placing the sack on the rooftop. It, or whoever was in it, arched like an inchworm, attempting to creep away. The stranger planted a boot on the sack's loose edge so it couldn't go far. He devoured the rest of his pastry, licked crumbs off his fingers when he was done. I forgot how good these things are. Who are you? Otto demanded. The stranger's reflective goggles settled on Otto. My name, his dark beard split in a smile, is Time Star. She'd said, Time Star? Your mama named you Time Star? His smile faltered. No, that's my public identity. My real name is a secret because I'm a hero when I'm from. He said hero, and when I'm from, not where. Otto, suspicious, said, You're a time-traveling superhero? Time Star took a wide-legged stance, planted his fist on his hips, and tilted his head towards the sky, a classic superhero pose. Can't you tell? Not really. Although he did fall out of a portal and his clothes looked futuristic. She'd said, How'd you know about maneuver number 42? Time Star abandoned his pose. When I'm from, everybody knows about the legendary Austin boys of Logan County. Your maneuvers are well documented. When is that exactly? Otto asked. The year 2211. Why are you here? Time Star leveled his gaze at Otto. A sightseeing trip, and, he dropped his eyes, became a little bit shy, I wanted to see the legendary Austin boys of Logan County in action. That Laughing Locust adventure is all the rage in my time. There's, goodness, at least 3 major motion pictures about it. Otto's jaw dropped. There are movies about us in the future? Sure, and hollow streams and virtual reality games, tons of stuff. Traveling to see you live in a very popular vacation excursion. Otto said, You mean other time travelers have been back to watch us? How come we've never seen them? The Time Bureau dictates that we stay hidden. We cannot, under any circumstances, change things in the past, so you wouldn't have seen any of my fellow travelers. She'd held up one finger, skeptical. You're not hiding, though, and why are you here now? The laughing locusts were months ago. Time Star shrugged. But guess. Best guess. This time freeze thing disrupted my travel route. Spit me out here unexpectedly. As far as the hiding, since I'm a superhero, one of the best, mind you, I'm willing to improvise given today's unusual circumstances. She'd said, Excuse us? He turned towards the ledge, motioned for Otto to do the same. Otto joined him, occasionally flicking glances over his shoulder at the self-proclaimed hero. You buying any of this? She'd asked. It sounds ridiculous, like something we'd make up on our way to the comic book store, Otto said. Mostly. Why mostly? He didn't fall from this hole in the sky. Time's weird today. A time traveler in the mix isn't so far-fetched, is it? Sheed's face twisted. Time Star, though? Yeah, that's stupid. But how'd he know about our maneuvers if at least some of what he's saying isn't true? She'd had no good answer. Playing along? Might as well. They faced the so-called Time Star. Otto pointed at the writhing sack by the time traveler's feet. What's going on there? His smile stretched, full and bright. I brought you a present. The human-sized sack kept trying to slink away. Time Star yanked it back and undid the crisscross tie that kept it sealed. When the fabric uncinched wide enough, a blue-gray hand shot out, talon-like nails curving from the fingertips. Otto and Sheed screamed and scrambled backwards. It's okay, guys, Time Star says. She looks much meaner than she is. She? The boys took cautious steps toward while Time Star opened the sack fully. A mop of dusty hair threaded with spiderwebs popped free. Yellow eyes peered from between the ragged split strands, and a hiss spilled from a mouth full of fangs. She wore a frilly black dress that appeared scorched at the edges. A dense, swampy mist seeped out of the bag, and her wrists were bound with several loops of twine. This was one of the stampeding clock watchers they had spotted from Mr. Archie's window earlier. She'd been super creepy, floating on a bed of fog. Otto believed Time Star on this one. There was no way this clock watcher could be as mean as she looked. Still, you kidnapped her? She'd said, horrified. No, said Time Star. I apprehended her before she could do more damage. When I found her, she was in Sunshine Cemetery working on some sort of spell around all the graves. I don't know exactly what she planned, but she'd set up a big banner that said, Welcome back. I figured it was best not to let her see that, though. A spell? Said Otto. The supposed time traveler knelt beside her and said, Tell them who you are. She'd stiffened, expecting some monstrous, cackling squeal of a voice. Hi, she said, her voice as calm and plain as that their social studies teacher. I'm Witching Hour. You've probably met a few of my clock-watcher colleagues. Time Star waved her on. Tell them what you did. I made that. Witching Hour pointed at the camera around Otto's neck. Probably a little too well, wouldn't you say? Chapter 18, Witching Hour. Otto raised the camera, once again considering the impossible way it was put together and the impossible thing it had done. Entry number 58. Deduction. A magical camera built by a witch makes perfect sense in Logan County's special imperfect way. She'd said, You're called Witching Hour? That's correct. Are you a witch, or are you an hour? Both. Like the way the golden hours are time and stylist? Otto offered. Exactly. She'd shook his head. Whatever. Why did you make that camera? Witching Hour threw her head back and cackled, a harsh, gargling laugh that echoed over Fry. They all recoiled. The laugh cut out abruptly, and she returned to the calm voice. Apologies, I can't always control the laugh. Anyhow, a naughty being sought me out. At my designated time, I was required to help him. Flux, Time Star said. As if we didn't know that was who she was talking about, Otto thought, annoyed by Captain Obvious. She'd asked, Is Mr. Flux a clock watcher like you and the rest? No, he is most definitely not part of our family. He is a malicious manifestation from outside of our natural realm. She burped another short cackle. She'd said, What realm did he come from? The only one capable of conjuring such chaos, yours, a human created Mr. Flux. Otto followed that up with, What human? Witching Hour poked a talon into her mouth, considering. I do not know, Otto said. How do we know you're telling the truth? I always tell the truth, she said earnestly. I'm all about mischief. and nothing causes more mischief than the truth. But you already know that, or else the two of you wouldn't be keeping so many secrets, am I right? Witching Hour had wild eyes that seemed to move independently of each other, never focusing on any one thing, so Otto wasn't clear on her last statement. There are three of us. Which two do you mean? Her only response was a feigned grin. Frowns all around, and Otto's immediate reaction was to deny her accusation. But they already didn't believe Time Star. If they were right, he was definitely keeping secrets. He wanted to believe that she didn't keep things from him, only he'd never admitted his crush on Lene Ellison. Could that be one of the secrets she spoke of? I'm not keeping many secrets, Otto thought. That wasn't true either, was it? His cheeks burned with embarrassment. There he was, lying to himself, proving Witching Hour right. She'd said, "Come on, lady, what kind of secrets are you talking about?" Another cackle from Witching Hour, full of extra glee. I said I always tell the truth. I did not say I always tell. Secrets are the best truths, and silence is always an option. You're not going to tell us any more about Mr. Flux, then? She whipped her bird nest hair about, a vicious head shake that sent dust and bugs airborne. Oh, no, I'll tell you all I know about him. I don't like the circumstances we found ourselves in any more than you. Just because I was compelled to help him doesn't mean I'm compelled to keep his secrets. Gather round and tell old Witchy, tell you a tale. Otto sat. She'd followed. Time Star remained standing and also suspiciously quiet throughout this exchange. If he really was a hero, why was he letting them do all the work? Though her wrists were cinched with twine, she cupped her hands together, then bulged and pulsed as if she had a fidgety mouse trapped between her palms, and white light leaked between her fingers. When she spread her hands, her palms side by side, a tiny globe, the size of a tennis ball, floated an inch above her gray-blue skin. Witching Hour, as pleasant in her unpleasantness as can be, said, "We share the world, us clock watchers and you humans. Mostly we are unaware of each other, since me and my colleagues tend to operate behind the scenes in what you might call a different dimension, and are very focused on our task. You only recognize us as your day dragging when you're bored or flying by when you're having fun. We dictate when you go to sleep, eat dinner, or start a new season. Even though your measly, inadequate human perceptions don't normally allow us to see us in our true forms, you know that we're always there." She'd raised his hand like he were at school, a question on his mind. Witching Hour said, "Except when you go to the bathroom. That would be uncomfortable for everyone." She lowered his hand. "I know that seems very crowded," she continued, "and sometimes it is. A second guesser might ride on a Minuteman's shoulders while the Minuteman rides dinner hour piggyback. A second guesser and a Minuteman tried to jump on my shoulders once, but a spider crawled from my hair and scared them off. That spider's name was Stan." "Is Stan important in this story?" Otto asked, taking notes. "A good spider is always important. Remember that, boys." "All righty, then." Witching Hour's toothy grin shrank a bit on the next part. "The thing you have to understand is even though we share the same world, humans and clockwatchers never truly mingle before, not like we are now, until Mr. Flux broke the rules and changed everything. With your help," she wasn't letting her off the hook, "us clockwatchers have unyielding natures. When he approached me with mischief in his heart at the exact stroke of midnight, I couldn't say no." She'd said, "Hey, Time Star, what do you think about all this?" Time Star fidgeted, twisting a single dreadlock around his pointer finger. "I think you two should listen. While I also listen, I mean." What is his deal, thought Otto. Witching Hour continued. "This part of your world, your Logan County, is different than most places. If there's a location for your respective dimensions to crisscross in unexpected and dangerous ways, it's here. Mr. Flux was the victim of such an occurrence. He is not a man, and he is not a clock watcher. He is a missed opportunity." The boys shot each other puzzled looks. Otto said, "He's mad because he missed out on something?" "No, he is the opportunity that was missed. A bitter cast-off. Someone could have done something, but they didn't. A common occurrence, really. But in this strange place, common can become uncommon in the blink of an eye, correct?" The boys in Time Star nodded. This was Logan County. Witching Hour said, "Mr. Flux found himself trapped between humans and time. Ignored by people and clock watchers, he became rage-filled and perhaps a bit insane. He seethed and festered and plotted, waiting for a time and the means to strike at us all, today. He sought me out, asked for passage into the human dimension and a tool to exact his revenge. I didn't want to do it. My strict nature as a troublemaker compelled me. But being as mischievous as I am, I built a safeguard into the device so its initial use had to be triggered by a clock watcher or human. I knew none of my colleagues would do the dirty deed. We're too busy. And I thought perhaps any humans he came across would be way too smart to fall for his schemes. Otto and Sheet suddenly found their sneakers very interesting. Witching Hour clapped her palms together, smooshing the globe. Clearly, I was mistaken. Why is he doing this, though? She, grinning, grim and scared, said, What does he want? To ensure no one in Fright ever misses an opportunity again. If you haven't noticed, he succeeded.